2017, Nintendo killed off one of the most unique things they ever made. The Satellaview? What the fuck? No, Miiverse, the social network Nintendo abandoned after the Switch released. In today's video, I want to look back on it, see why it shut down, and why I think it deserves to be on the Switch. So what was Miiverse? For the people who don't know, Miiverse was a social platform Nintendo made that launched alongside the Wii U in 2012 and later in 2013 for web browsers and the 3DS. To summarize what Miiverse was like, it was like Twitter for kids. There is no better way of explaining that. Each game had their own community for people to put drawings, screenshots, or this. Yeah, I have no idea how that was even allowed. So what made Miiverse different from any other social media? Well, this one was built into the Wii U with Plaza, which was the home screen for the Wii U. You would see hundreds of Miis swarm onto the screen when you would boot it up, and these Miis would have text bubbles above them, which were posts from Miiverse. Also, Miiverse wasn't only in the home screen, it was implemented into the games too, and a lot of them at that. One of the first games I could think of would be Splatoon with Inkopolis. You would see people's Miiverse drawings on top of their Inkling. Another game which had really cool Miiverse integration was Super Smash Bros. 4 with the Miiverse stage. It was very similar to how Splatoon used Miiverse, but instead of having the drawings on top of the Inklings, the drawings were a part of the stage. You would see drawings come into the stage from time to time, and I feel like this was one of the most unique stages in Super Smash Bros. 4, since it would make every match feel a bit different from the last, even if it's only minor. And now, with how I've been explaining Miiverse, you're probably thinking, damn, why did Nintendo shut this down? Well, I've only been telling you half of it. There was a weird side to Miiverse, and I guess this goes to every other social media platform, but Miiverse didn't really have the best moderation. There was a lot of role-playing on there, and in 2015, Nintendo's fix to that was to limit people's posting to 30 posts a day. And as you can imagine, that wasn't the best idea. While the restriction didn't target role-players specifically, it ended up affecting everyone. While some communities struggle more than others, most were just a little chaotic. But there's always one to top them all, and that was none other than the Super Luigi U community. That community is the worst of what Miiverse had to offer. If you were for some reason stuck on Super Luigi U the game and then went on the community for help, well, you're not finding anything remotely close to Luigi. This community was known for its shitposts, and also people oversharing for some reason. There were also explicit drawings, lewd imagery, and words if I said on this channel, I would get cancelled. And somehow it even got to a point where the community got hacked and the icon completely changed. And while the communities were like that, they weren't the reason for this next part. On August 29th, 2017, Nintendo announced that Miiverse was getting shut down. And their reason? To quote Nintendo, they said, "We decided to end the service at this time because, among other reasons, many users are shifting to social networking services." And just like that, it was the beginning of the end. Thousands of people were posting, begging Nintendo to not shut it down and to save it. But Nintendo didn't listen. On the final day of Miiverse, everyone had came together to celebrate. People were being chill and posting all these really nice drawings, and it felt like everyone was together. And now, on November 7th, 2017, Miiverse was officially shut down. If you went onto the Miiverse website, you would have been greeted to a simple thank you message. And below that, a mosaic of the drawings people made. Honestly, it had this sort of bittersweet feeling to it. And with that, so many games lost functionality. The drawings in Splatoon, gone. The comments in Super Mario Maker, gone. The Super Smash Bros. Stage? Well, now that's just a shitty reskin of Battlefield. And sure, the 3DS wasn't affected that much, but the Wii U on the other hand, it felt like a chunk of its charm just taken away. With Plaza, you could see what other real people were saying about a game or whatever, but now everything's just generic. And with the Switch being out at the time already, and no new news on Miiverse coming to it, it became clear that Nintendo was done with this whole social network thing. I feel like we lost something going from the Wii U and 3DS to the Switch, and a lot of that I feel comes down to Miiverse. When it was around, everything felt more connected. Sure, there were those weird posts that you would see from time to time, but I feel like that adds to its charm in my opinion. And what I feel like is crazy is that the Switch has sold more units than the Wii U and 3DS combined, so it would be perfect for Miiverse. You could make the argument that the internet has changed since then, but I feel like that could work in Nintendo's favor. All that weird role-playing shit on Miiverse, well, that would all be on Twitter or some Discord server now. And maybe with some moderation, I feel like that Miiverse could make a comeback. I really do hope that maybe one day we'll see some sort of successor to Miiverse for the Switch, even though it has been 9 years since it's been released. So, after all these years, Miiverse still has an impact online to this day. Like, you may still see images of the posts that were on there, or on Twitter for a short time after public likes were removed, people were using the yeah button in the comments. Even some games on the Switch still has stuff that was similar to Miiverse, like how the Splatoon games still have the drawings on top of the Inklings and Octolings. Also, while Miiverse has been gone, people have been trying to make their own versions of it, but I don't think any of them has taken off. Now, before I wrap everything up, to recap, Miiverse was something genuinely unique that Nintendo built into the Wii U. It failed partly due to moderation issues and Nintendo moving on with the Switch. But I feel like with better moderation, Miiverse could make a comeback. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, remember to like and subscribe. If you have any memories of Miiverse, I'd love to read them in the comments below. Thanks for watching and goodbye.